make it so you can stay in there.
You can stay here. Just go straight back, and when you see the moose head on the floor, go to the moose head. And if you guys want it tonight, it is available.
Is it available?
Yes, it's available tonight. I'll go into that a little bit more. Now, over the years here in Virginia City, there have been a lot of disasters, catastrophes. There have been fires, there have been explosions, there have been cave-ins, there have been murders, there have been suicides. The Washoe Club years without incident. 1873, there was a man who lived in this apartment. This man, he was the explosives technician for the mining industry in Virginia City. And it was known from time to time he did have some of the explosives stored here in the apartment. But there's really nothing wrong with that. He was the explosives technician. He supposedly knew what he was doing. But
Supposedly.
this man, he had a little pet.
Uh-oh.
He had a pet.
Oh,
June 30th, 1870, about 10 o'clock in the morning. Most of the men, they're down at the work sites. They're in the mines. The rest of the people in town, they're going about their daily business. 10 o'clock, the monkey gets out of his cage, getting into the knocking the explosives over along with the nitroglycerin, and in doing so, blew the back half of this building to smithereens, along with the Bank of California located across the street, killing right around 19 people.
oh,
Jesus.
Well, the monkey was killed in the explosion.
So they can no longer be responsible.
Also, a little girl. Her name was Ella. Now, her mother and father died in the explosion as well. But for some reason, little Ella has never crossed over, and she seems to be with us still today. We get frequent reports from different investigations, different TV shows that come here to do TV shows. They are making contact with little Ella. You'll notice the toys and stuffed animals over here. These are used as trigger objects by paranormal investigators to try to entice little Ella to communicate with them. It does seem to be working. They are making contact with her. You'll notice the picture over here on the wall, this little girl. Now, this is not Ella. But what I want you to notice is the clothing that she is wearing. Now, we do have a picture of Ella in spirit form downstairs in the museum. I will point that out to you when we get down there. And you'll notice the clothing that she is wearing is very similar to what this little girl is wearing here at the same time period, the 1800s. 1980, there was a man who lived in this apartment. His name was Scotty. He lived here with his teenage boy. One day, his boy went out for the day. He's wandering around the hillsides around Virginia City, and he falls into an uncharted, unmapped mine shaft. The boy is killed. Scotty was so distraught over the loss of his son, over the months of grieving, he just couldn't take it anymore. He committed suicide in this apartment and shot himself in the head with a gun. And that supposedly took place right here in front of this window. Come around the corner down here. They need to get it up on the wall. Take a look at this closet.
Jesus.
Now, if you guys have any idea what this closet could have been used for, let us know, because we certainly don't know what it was used for. But I have a feeling that this closet was an afterthought when they were putting the building back together after the explosion in 1873. They just happened to have some extra space, decided to call it a closet, and call it a day.
You could fit in there, though. I could fit in there.
Right?
Maybe it was for storing something that was long and, you know.
Maybe table
Tables or something like
leaves, or I don't know. We're just using it as a place to put
It's hard
stuff.
to tell because there's a lot of things that they used to use back then that we don't use
We
today.
don't use today, yeah. All right, let's go down the hallway here.
They didn't like maybe have awnings or things like that they take down in the wintertime.
No.
Seasonal stuff, yeah. Maybe it's their Christmas decorations.
Yeah. Now, when you look through this section of the building here, you're going to see, at one time, this was actually two separate buildings.
Right.
You can see where the big windows used to set on the sides.
Right.
Also notice on the windows here, there were places for iron shutters. Now these iron shutters, they started going on the buildings around Virginia City after the Great Fire of 1875. This was a devastating fire and it scared people to death. When that fire was out, people started putting these iron shutters on the windows around town. In case another fire of that magnitude ever broke out again, they could close those iron shutters to keep the fires from getting in, or better yet, to keep a fire contained to a building so it wouldn't jump out and burn the rest of the town down again. And it was after 1875 that the roof went on, and this did become one building. 1920, plumbing was introduced to the building for the very first time. This big monstrosity above our head right here, this is the hot water tank that was installed for the hot water. Now that is a 90-gallon water tank standing up there, and that thing has been standing up there since 1920. So
Wow.
I think we should move on.
No.
I think you'll be the last tour of the day.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I said? There's a room available, all right? I don't know.
Now this room here, this was a place where the guys could come and relax. It was a place where they could come and listen to music, maybe even play some music. The walls were actually done this way for the acoustics for the room. Now how they got the wood bent this way, they would steam the wood, it would get it soft enough, and then they could bend it to the shape they were looking for. You'll also notice in the bigger slats of wood, there are square head nails. Now it is my understanding that these square head nails were being made right on the spot as they were needed while they were putting the building up. We do get frequent reports from different paranormal investigators that come here to do investigations. They are actually picking up what sounds like a music box tinking away coming from this area of the room. Now, I was up here with my group. We were doing an investigation up here. It was before all this furniture got in here, and we were sitting in various places of the room, and we were doing EVP work. And as we're doing the EVP work, about 1 o'clock in the morning, the sound of that music box starts playing for us. We were all able to hear it with our ears. We didn't need any devices, and we actually picked it up in our EVP files. That was quite remarkable for all of us to be able to hear that all at the same time.
That's just basically confirmation right there that you actually heard something.
Yes,
Yeah.
Let's go up here to the front. This is going to be a great place to see the church and hopefully see the view.
So they were trying to like refinish this room or something, huh?
Yes, they were, but they decided to stop and not do any more work with the restoration and just let the building be. And just keep up with me. This is a great place to get pictures of the church. Virginia City is known for its 100-mile view, but as you can see today, we're going to be seeing 100 miles. We can't even see down there into the valley. If you look over there to your left, you'll notice a bright yellow house sitting down there. Do you see that down there?
Yeah.
Look just above the yellow house, you'll see the Virginia City Cemetery. Now, I don't know if you want to attempt it today, but the Virginia City Cemetery is well worth visiting and walking through. The church is open to the public. It's very beautiful in there.
Pretty awesome too.
Now, if you want to see another one of Virginia City's famous haunted spots that's been on TV's Ghost Adventures and TV's Dead Files, just go 1 block down, 2 blocks to your south, you'll see the Mackey Mansion sitting down there.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never done that before, you might want to do their tour today as well.
What time do they stop doing their tours, do you know?
With the weather the way it is, I think people are starting to close up now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Most of the people
So
are.
you got to get out of here before the
Exactly.
It's a bad road.
Uh-huh.
It's a really bad road.
But you can always go down there and see if they are. Or I can make a phone call for you and see if they're going to do another tour. I can do that for you if you want to. If you want to do it. Well, let's go see the rest of this building.
Depends on how long you guys want to sit, or you can do it another day or something. It's not that far, you see.
Just go down the hallway to the room on the right.
Not even the stores. I feel like I'm walking uphill. I guess I am, huh?
Maybe 7.
kind of gives you the fun,
I keep hearing
Is it
the
funny
funhouse
doing?
effect.
people leave
Yeah, this is a
California.
fun.
Do they leave their cars? I mean,
Right.
it's like if they're leaving, where's all this traffic coming
Two
from?
of them, maybe.
When you walked into this room, it kind of feels like you're walking uphill.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, this entire brick wall right here, this is that wall that came crashing down back in 1889. There was so much water and moisture that had collected underneath the building that when the wall collapsed, the force of it caused the building to sink, and it just went just like this. And this building has been sitting this way since 1889. Now, when they put this wall back up, they just took all the broken pieces of brick. They just plastered the wall right back up there. It has been that way since. This window right here to your left, when you look out the window and move back and forth, it kind of looks like you're looking through water.
Yeah.
Now, this is original glass from the 1800s. And we do have panes of glass that are still intact from that period. You'll notice the floor you're standing on here is brand new. Now, some things had to be done to the building to bring it back up to code. So people come up here on the tours and spend the night up here. A few of the rooms, we had to replace the floors completely. There was absolutely nothing here. If you were up here at night doing an investigation and something scared you, and you come running down this hallway into this room, you would have just fallen into oblivion. There was absolutely nothing here.
Jesus.
Sprinkler systems for fire safety had to be installed. Retrofitting to the building had to be done to make it more sound and more secure. About 4 years ago, the new copper roof went on. This all came in at the cost of right around $130,000. So the money that we do bring in from the tours, the money from the overnight stays that we have, memberships to the Washoe Club that you can buy into, that money does go right back into the maintenance and the upkeep of the building.
Cool.
So let's go see the last room of the tour.
So trippy. Walking in here.
That's awesome.
It's like a fun house.
Definitely the funhouse effect in that room.
Yeah, it's trippy. I know this would make the old one haunted house, you know.
Look through that window right there. You'll look down on the secret staircase that I was telling you about. Those big windows to the left, that's the ballroom that we were in on the second floor.
Wow.
You'll notice the paint job in this room. Now this paint job is from 1984. Now there was a man who lived in this apartment. He decided he was going to paint. Not quite sure what color he was going with, but he starts painting. He gets a knock on the door. It's the owner of the building. The owner of the building at that time is notifying him that the building has been red tagged. It is no longer safe for people to be living here. Him and the rest of the people up here, living up here at that time, have 2 weeks before they have to vacate the premises. So he stops with his paint job, just as you see it today, packs up his belongings, and he moved out. Well, when everyone was out of the building, the owner comes back up here. He starts looking around. And he decides that he's going to restore this building and bring it back up to code himself with the help of friends from around town. So they came up here and they started ripping this place apart. They ripped out all the carpeting that was in the rooms. They ripped out all the linoleum that was on the floors. They ripped out all the plumbing that was up here. They ripped out all the electricity that was up here. They even took these walls right down to the lath. They're going to redo it themselves. Well, over the months of doing all this tearing apart, the owner, he starts to realize that he has miscalculated what this job is going to cost him. And he started having financial problems. His problems got worse. He had to file bankruptcy. And in doing so, he lost this building. Well, when he lost this building in 1984, that was it. Nobody paid attention to this building ever again, except for the bar downstairs. All of this up here, it just started going to ruins. Over the years, the roof was caving in. It was causing the snow and the water to come through. It was rotting the floors out. They were falling in. It just became a big mess up here. And it stayed that way until 2003. 2003 is when the current owner took possession of the building. And he is the one who has raised the money to bring this building back up to code so people can come here and see it and experience it for themselves. 2004, Travel Channel, Ghost Adventures, they find out about Virginia City and the Washoe Club. When they came here and did that very first investigation here in 2004 and it aired on television, people have been flocking to this building ever since to be able to see it and experience it for themselves. And it's pretty much TV's Ghost Adventures and the other paranormal TV shows that are on TV today that have put the entire town of Virginia City on the map as a paranormal destination. There is really nowhere in this town that you can go to that has not been on one of these TV shows, and they do have their stories to tell you.
Yeah, Virginia City's like world
We
renowned.
were just saying
for
that like the whole
paranormal.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to see up there.
So let's go over to the staircase, and I'll let you know how you guys can spend the night. Take a look at that back there. Look at those windows.
Yeah.
Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
that. You can see the big cracks in the wall.
You can see where some of them were replaced and some of them. The real old. Put that in when you go to like old
Well, do you guys have any questions on anything about what we talked about on the tour?
Is this the building that had the old poker game downstairs, or
Is that either you
this
think?
isn't the same building, is it?
We do have poker games here. Once a year, we do have the poker game with ghosts. And that's down there on the second floor where the table was that I was
Yeah.
telling you about. We host that. Every once in a while, they do have poker games downstairs in the bar area.
But there
Those
is,
tables, they flip over and they're the poker.
but this isn't the same. Maybe I'm confusing this building with another one. But I remember distinctly something about
Just touch me, yeah.
there was a secret poker game that the cards are still set on the table.
Are you talking about the suicide table?
Maybe that's what I'm talking about. I'm not sure. I know that someone, I guess there was a bullet in the
Something
wall or
just touched my
something.
finger, dude. I grabbed my finger and my finger's like ice cold now. Feel it. And
Did
he
you
said
say
he
pull
saw
my
it in work.
finger?
Yeah, my
No,
fingers are
you know, I
freezing,
don't
dude.
know. The only poker table I know where the cards are still the same
Don't you feel
is called the suicide table.
Okay.
That's on display at the Bonanza.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Delta? The Delta Saloon and Hotel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well,
yeah.
it exploded. This last March, there was a propane leak, and
Oh, that's why it's
the building
closed.
blew up. Yeah. Well, they took the suicide table out of there while
Okay,
they
that's
were
the suicide
refurbishing.
table one. That was the
Yeah.
one I've been to. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to you could stay in there too, couldn't you? You used to have
That's
rooms
the
in
Silver Queen, where you can spend the night at the
Okay.
Silver Queen, but not at the Delta.
And that's pretty nice. The silver. Somebody said it was pretty nice.
The Silver Queen it's
They kept it, but it's all rustic. But it's
oh, it's very rustic.
Yeah.
And that's where the famous Room 11 is.
yeah.
That's Room 11. If you're going to stay there, you want to get Room 11
That's the one with the girl
in the bathtub.
in the bathtub.
Slit
Yeah.
her wrists,
Yeah.
and Zach Baggins went in there and mocked her.
Ridiculous,
If you
huh?
remember that.
Yeah,
episode.
exactly. We're not too hip on that.
No, neither am I. I don't think too many people are, but the girls go crazy about it.
That demon house, like what he did. with
Oh,
that.
the Demon House, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing was such a joke.
Well, I just want to let you know that we do offer nighttime stays here. It is $400 to spend the night. Now, for this $400, you're allowed to bring in up to 8 people with you. You split the cost up between 8 people. It can be very reasonable to spend the night here. You will have access to the second floor, the third floor, the museum, and the crypt all night long at your disposal. It will just be you and your group that's up here. You won't be sharing it with anybody else.
Cool.
A few things we're going to ask you not to be doing while you're spending the night up here. We're going to ask you not to be smoking up here. We'll ask you not to be drinking up here. And we're going to ask you not to be sleeping up here because we're not zoned for sleeping.
Right.
So when you do check in for your nighttime stay, you may want to bring a sleeping bag with you. Bring food, drinks, an ice chest, a coffee maker, anything that makes the night more comfortable for you. You'll be camping in the museum area where the bathrooms are located. We just keep the back door downstairs open for you, so you have access to get up here to the second and
So
third
there's
floors.
anybody else here, or are we just alone?
You'll be here by yourselves.
So if there was
The
something,
bar will be closed. Yeah.
Ah, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. So if that sounds like something you might want to do, like I mentioned to you guys, it is available tonight. But if you can't do it tonight and want to do it later on, get a date set up.
Yeah.
Give us a call. Let us know if the date is open. We'll let you know if the date is open. If it is, we will book it for you.
Great.
To make a list of everything we need.
Some stuff, yeah.
And it all hooked
That'd
up,
be
yeah.
awesome, bro.
It's
You
really
get some more
good to
people,
bring.
maybe.
What we do, we bring portable generators,
Mhm.
so we can keep all of our equipment running.
Right.
You know, because there's only one place where you can plug into electricity up here. But When you do this, boy, your stuff gets tapped. The energy just
send my stuff back.
it gets drained. It gets drained very
I'll
easily.
tell him.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are satisfied with the tour, if I've answered all your questions, if you've had a good time with
Absolutely.
it, I do accept and appreciate tips.
You'll see
greatly.
us again.
One thing we would like for you to do, when you do get back home, go to one of the online services such as TripAdvisor or maybe Yelp. Write us a review of what you thought of the building and what you thought of the tour.
Yeah.
If you have any suggestions that you think might make this a better tour, list those suggestions. It only helps me do a better job in the future. I've actually taken suggestions that people have made and incorporated them in my to make it a better tour. So it does work.
Awesome.
All right.
Well,
I'll
when's
also
the
tag you in a
busiest-
YouTube video too. So
Pardon?
I'll also tag you in a YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
too.
All right. That'll be great.
Yeah,
What
he's-
did you say?
When is a busy time here when people usually come and stay? Is it in the spring?
The summer.
Summertime.
Summertime,
Yeah, there's no heat in here, right?
No,
Yeah, so
no.
you need to
But I will tell you, if you want to do it, like maybe in December, January, or February, the cost of the $400 goes down to $200, and it's still for up to 8 people. But it is very cold up here.
Right.
But I will tell you, if you're used to investigating, and things are happening, you won't even know it's cold because your adrenaline's going to be pumping.
Correct.
You won't even know it's cold up here because we've done it.
Yeah.
And then we go, oh, yeah, it is cold.
You just put on some thermals.
Yeah.
Thin slate. Thermals.
Let's go downstairs. We still got some more things to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. We thought we were just gonna look at this place from the outside. It was like
Yeah.
Yeah, go across the street and take a picture of it, and you'll see how it sits. It's sitting.
That's confusing. Yeah. Good investigation. It's too bad you didn't bring your camera and stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, that's an awesome link right now.
I'll meet you right inside,
Okay.
underneath that crystal chandelier.
That's where the last little part. So the cat jumped back up and that's part of the